While we have invited a number of speakers and guests from the list that signed the letter, none of them could join us today. I was wondering if anyone in the room who might have had dialogue with Mr. Hoyer might have any comments at this time, or if he sent anybody to speak on his behalf. No one? Okay. At this time, I feel it appropriate as president of the organization to speak and to say that I believe this organization has a collective interest in ensuring fair and honest elections, and I believe that policy distance and discussions are healthy and they're even inevitable. However, Whit Hoyer's blanket letter from 196 members of his party to all members of this organization is not. His stating that, quote, partisan plays, end of quote, are being made, that within itself is partisan. This organization is not partisan. We all take oaths in our states to follow the laws that are created by our legislative bodies, not to follow preferences of either political party's philosophy as they relate to voting or any other dealings of the office of Secretary of State. Our laws and our preferences will always vary from state to state, but we as an organization need to send a loud and clear message that our ability and integrity to follow the law and to administrate those elections and laws does not and will not vary. Questioning whether members of this organization, regardless of political party, can oversee elections in a professional, fair, or ethical manner is insulting to the history and credibility of this organization, and it is my job as president to ensure that it does not divide this organization. Does anyone else have anything other to say? I can't see that far. Can you tell me who that is? Chris Kobach.
Yeah, Madam President. I think all of us received the letter from Representative Hoyer, and it was addressed to every Secretary of State in the country, and I too was disturbed by the letter, and although I did offer my own response in defense of my particular state's changes of its election laws, I think it is appropriate for this body to respond in some fashion because it was addressed to all of us collectively.
He is not here to give a 50-minute speech and bore us to death. He wouldn't do that to you. He does want a dialogue. He is here honestly to take questions and to provide you with answers. So at this time, please give a great NASS welcome to a great former NASS member, Congressman Todd Rokita.
Thank you, Beth. I really appreciate that that introduction. The reason I'm here, we did have some scheduling issues, as many of you do as well. It's nothing new. But I know what happens being a former NASS president. I know what happens, what gets done to you by Leslie Reynolds if you don't come at the appropriate time to do your duty. So I am here really because I absolutely love this organization. I'm still in love with it, even from the perch of my new public elected responsibilities. Some of you I got to meet on the way in and rekindle some old friendships, and I appreciate that very much. And some of you asked me how I like my new job, and Robin Carnahan even asked if she could kiss my ring. I'll hear about that later. And I said, you know, to Robin and others, I said, you know, the job of being an elected representative, especially in our nation's capital, is one certainly of high honor. But, and I say this back in the state too, there is nothing, absolutely nothing like being an elected statewide official, especially Secretary of State, and more particularly when you're the Chief Election Officer. It's been the highest honor of my life. And I credit a lot of that to what I learned here from many of you and from this organization and from the way this organization conducts itself. So in all honesty, that's what brings me back here today. And to have that dialogue, I promised and will not go on with the blah, 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 blah. But I do want to say thank you for having me, and let's get to it.
No softballs for this gentleman.